discussion on money as we close out our series Destinations. Wisdom for the life we really want. We're looking into the ancient wisdom of the Jewish, the Hebrew Proverbs, in what some call the Old Testament, but in the Hebrew Scriptures, there's a genre called wisdom literature. And there's several of these wisdom literatures where we love going through them and having these really practical discussions. And the express purpose of these proverbs that we're looking at in this ancient literature is simply this: to teach wisdom and discipline, so people can live disciplined, successful lives, doing what is right and just and fair. Like living these disciplined, successful, reaching success, and doing in the middle of reaching that success, living a life that is right and just and fair. That's the kind of life I think we all want. I don't think anyone here is going, nah, that doesn't sound good. I don't want to be successful doing what's right and just and fair. No, all of us want that kind of life. And so in this series, we just kind of looked at a few things, and I encourage you to go back to our YouTube channel and look at the last 2 weeks' ideas worth discussing. But kind of our series overall, broad idea worth discussing that we've been talking about is this quote from Andy Stanley's book, The Principle of the Path. Direction, not intention, determines destination. Direction, not intention, determines destination. Life doesn't care about what you want, but it will order itself around what you do, the choices you make, and the direction that you are going in your life. So, in a conversation like this, when we're talking about our direction, when we're talking about success, we have to discuss money. Because when we're not on the right road, right, when we're not going in the direction that's going to lead us to be successful, to a successful destination, when we're on the wrong road, when we're lost, when we have made wrong turns or poor choices, there's 2 things that we lose: time and money. Time, it's not renewable. You're not getting it back. It's gone, right? Some of us understand that, like that, even that thought like puts a weight on us of like, we remember that thing that we did and we lost time. We remember that relationship that was wrong for us, but we went in anyways and we lost time. But the other thing that we lose is money, and money isn't necessarily gone forever. Money is a renewable resource, and money is a resource for the road. It is never the destination. If you make money the destination, you will never reach success. And here's why. Because the more you get money, the destination changes to include more money, right? We never actually get there. It's never going to be the thing that satisfies us. I mean, we've all seen the interviews with the people that we consider wildly successful, and they talk about the money, and at some point, you know, like money just quits mattering, right? Like once you have enough and you have what you need, and there are various scales on where you live and what type of family you have and that kind of thing. But at a certain point, money just quits really existing as this thing. But if you keep pursuing it as the destination, you're never really going to be successful. You're never going to actually be the person that you want to be. But the life that we all want, probably at some level, includes money, right? A career that you want, the passion. You would love to be paid for your passion and to be in a career, right? Like your passion and your work life and the money you make all kind of colliding together. So for some of you, it's going to take money to get there because school ain't free, right? Like you know you're going to need the education, or you're going to have to invest in that business, into that thing. At some point, money comes in to play, and we cannot ignore it. But I also understand this truth. It's real difficult to show up at church and talk about money because many of us believe, and some of us have real tangible experiences. This is why you believe this, that the church is only interested in your money. Matter of fact, I was reading a book last year, and it was this wealthy person, and this person that was writing the book was with this wealthy person, and it was Easter Sunday. They were traveling somewhere else. They're like, well, I'm going to go find a church. The author was like, I'm going to go find a church to worship at this morning because it's Easter Sunday and I want to celebrate that. And the other person, the wealthy person that was with them, So why don't you just send them a check? Isn't the money all they really want anyways? The author was like, no, and trying to explain like that, that's like, in reality, that's just not true, but that is people's perception many times. And so I get it. Showing up at church and the pastor getting up to speak and talking about money makes a lot of us just turn it off, right? Because that's what we believe that the church wants. But I want to kind of just set the stage for the discussion this way. First off, God doesn't want your money. So we as the church we're not out here, I'm not going to convince you to give us more money or to give us money at all. That's not my goal today, because I don't think God wants your money. I do think that God wants your heart. I do think that God pursues people at the very core of who they are. God does not want your money, but I do think that God wants your heart, and I do know this, they are attached. They are attached. They're tethered, right? It's like this bungee cord, right? If I let go, if I attach my money to something, my heart, I'm trying to do this without hurting, is going to follow. Okay? If I attach my heart, my affection, my adoration to something, my money is going to follow. Your money and your heart are attached. They are connected. God doesn't want your money. He wants your heart. But guess what? They're attached. Look at what Jesus said. In Matthew, he's talking in the Sermon on the Mount, one of his most famous sermons. He says, wherever your treasure is, there the desires of your heart will also be. So here's my treasure. I've invested my money into this company. Guess what? My affection goes up for what that company is doing. Right? I'm giving my money to this cause over here, and my heart and my affections grow for that. Or my affections are for this type of community, and so my money, I attach myself to that community, and my money follows. Why? Because your heart and your money are attached. Your affections and your treasures are connected. Look what else he says a few verses down. He says, no one can serve two masters. For you will hate one and love the other, right? Like your affections are attached to this. You will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and be enslaved to money. See, you got to pick one. Because when it comes to a relationship with God, and for some of you, if that word holds like this weight to you, you can use, some of you maybe use another word, the divine, right? I've heard people use the term the universe or the ground of being, but this thing that's underneath everything. When you attach yourself to it, your affection, your heart, your money will follow. They are connected. But some people tend to take this as that money is now this bad thing. Money is inherently evil to some people in their mind, but this does not make money bad. Money is amoral, right? No amount of money makes you moral or immoral. No amount of money makes you good or bad. But more money tends to magnify your morality. Right? I've seen people with next to nothing, and I challenge you, if you ever had a chance to go overseas on a trip that is specifically designed for missions to certain people. I mean, I've heard story after story. I have a really close friend. He went to this village, and they put out a week's worth of food for them, for their guests. They had nothing. And they were like, no, we don't want to eat that. No, you don't have to do that for us. And the person with them was like, no, you sit down and you eat all of this. Why? Because they're being generous. Right? Poor people can be generous, poor people can be greedy, rich people can be generous, rich people can be greedy. The more money you have, it magnifies your generosity or your greed. Now, the love, the pursuit of, the worship of, the enslavement to money, sure, that's going to put you in opposition with a love and a service to God. But money is not bad. I want to stress that. Sometimes it's easy to look at someone with a lot of money and go, well, look how greedy they are. And I just want to go, yeah, and if you had that much money, you'd probably be that greedy too. right? It just magnifies what we already are and how we already view money. So, our idea we're discussing today is this. Generosity is not a money matter, it's a heart condition. Generosity, and we have a core value here, give generously. We want that to be just in the core of who we are and identifying us as a people group collectively and as individuals. We want to grow in our generosity. But generosity is not a money matter, it's a heart condition. And when we can understand that, it begins to change the way that we view and we handle our money. So, what I want to do is I'm going to look into Proverbs. I'm going to see what we can learn, some wisdom that we can pull out of these ancient texts about generosity and greed. Because if generosity is not a money matter, greed is also not a money matter, right? It's a heart condition. So here we go. First, joy is found in generosity. True joy, real joy, lasting joy is found in generosity. Look at what Proverbs says here. Is it kind of contrasting? Such is the fate of all who are greedy for money. It robs them of life. Like living life to the fullest, when you're greedy, the money is actually going to steal the joy from your life. But look, the generous will prosper. Those who, I love the way this is worded, those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. Well, how? Well, if maybe you're a generous person, or maybe you've tried to live that life, you've disciplined yourself to be a generous person, and you felt this, every time I give to this thing that matters and helps people, I feel good about it. Right? You almost feel better about the money you give away than the money you save or the money you spend. Why? It's refreshing to you at your soul level, at your spirit level. That life, that joy, delight, that experience of living life the way that it seems like it should be lived is found in generosity. And it says that the generous will prosper because of this. Let's continue. Is that joy is found in generosity, but generosity honors the God image in us all. It honors the divine in us all. One of the very foundational principles of the Hebrew Scriptures and the New Testament Scriptures are simply this, is that every human being is made in the image of God. That every human being has intrinsic value, not ascribed value. It's not about what you produce or what you reproduce. It's about who you are as a human being, and that when we are generous, we honor that truth in every person. Look at what it says here. A person who gets ahead by oppressing the poor or by showering gifts on the rich will end in poverty. Now, I'll reserve this for the table. I just want you to think about this verse here. Right? Think about this. I'll reserve your comments for the table. I hope that you'll feel free to speak on this. Look at the contrast. Those who oppress the poor insult their maker, but helping the poor honors him. Is an honoring, a respecting God when I respect my neighbor by giving generously to them. It's why Jesus said to love God and to love your neighbor, that they're equal. Like love your neighbor is second in succession, not in importance. Why? Because every time I love my neighbor, and that will include my finances, every time I do that, I am honoring, I am respecting the image of God in that person. No matter how much I can't see it on the outside, I know it's there on the inside. And I respect and I honor that. Okay, let's continue. Joy is found in generosity. Generosity honors God and just all. And accruing wealth is connected to generous living. This one's going to be hard to understand. Here we go. Look what it says here. Greedy people try to get rich quick. Pyramid schemes, right? But don't realize they're headed for poverty. They don't realize it, right? I'm greedy, right? I hear this idea, I'm gonna jump in, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get rich quick. Every time I said, man, when I grown up, I was a single young man, I can't tell you how many times I had people come to me and tell me how I could get rich quick if I just did this formula that only really made them or some person I don't even know rich, right? But if you're greedy, you're gonna go after that. They don't realize they're headed for poverty, but look at this. Give freely and become more wealthy. What? Give freely and become more wealthy? Be stingy everything. Oh my goodness, wait. So there's this countercultural, very deeply spiritual lesson here. If you want more of something, give it away. It does not make sense to our earthly mind. It just doesn't. Like, I'd be like inauthentic if I stood here and went, duh, right? How are you not doing this in your life? That would not be real. What's real is for me to sit here and say, I don't always believe this, and I certainly don't always live it. But this wisdom here, we need to live that. All of us. And I think it's nearly impossible to live because it's impossible to believe. That if I want more of something, I give it away. It sounds countercultural. It sounds almost anti-real life. But there's generosity that flows out of this. There's wisdom in it. So, generous people. I want to kind of talk about generous people real quick and give some real practical things here as what we've looked at. So, generous people, first off, they have a plan. They have a plan. A lot of people think generosity is, I'm up late at night, I'm eating Cheetos in my underwear, and a sad dog commercial comes on with Sarah McLachlan singing behind me. Listen, just about every dog, if you play Sarah McLachlan in the background, looks sad. I don't know how else to do it. It's just, and we think, oh, I feel bad, and so I give to that. I call the number and I give, or I sign up monthly. And then, 2 months later, I quit signing up for that because I actually don't have the money to do that. Like, we think that's what generosity is. Is in this moment, I have this feeling, and I give based on that feeling. That is not generosity. Truly generous people have intention and strategy behind their giving. The most generous people that I've ever met have a plan. Now, I want to quickly just kind of show you a plan, okay? I don't ever want to say that my plan or this plan over here that I like is the plan for anyone and everyone. That's just not how I view things. But I think that we should all have a plan, and I think certainly for our money, we should have a plan. And so this is kind of how I like to do it. So first off, the idea is I want to give. And if you take 100% of your income, maybe it's net, maybe it's gross, you can have that discussion. But you take your money and you say, here's 100%, I'm going to give 10% away. I'm just going to give 10% away. Non-negotiable, first things first, I'm going to be generous to start off with in my life, and so I'm going to give 10% of my money away. And I would encourage you to do this. Some of you, I don't know how I would make that happen. I don't know how I would make that work. Let me encourage you, do this and do it first. It is counterculture, it is counterintuitive, but I want to encourage you, give your money. And you know what? Give it away to something you believe in, right? Give it away to something that's going to work. One of the reasons here we have people invest in the work of Downtown Faith is because that when we collectively do that, we can actually get more bang for our buck because we do it collectively. It's one of the first things I learned when I came downtown was that I had a gentleman that worked with the city and as the director of social services, and he said, listen, if you're coming down here as a church, like have a plan with your church's money and how you're going to help the community. Don't just throw money at every little thing, and don't just encourage people, to give $5 to someone in need on the streets. You give $5 to them that can feed them for a meal or two. You give $5 to an organization that has buying power. You can feed them for much, much longer. And so, again, but give with a plan. Give to something you believe in. Give to something that has purpose and is helping people. Give to that, 10%. And then, save 10%. I'll say this is the hardest one for me. Even though I am the saver in our family, this is the hardest one for me to really budget and to do consistently. But we work on it. To save, right? So I'm going to live on 10%, I'm going to save 10%, and then that means that I've made the intentional decision to live on 80%. Now, if you don't decide how much you're going to live on, you will never know how much you're actually living on, right? If you don't make a plan for where your money goes, your money will just go, and you'll be like, where did it all go? But if you have a plan, and you decide up front, I'm going to live on 80%, I'm going to live on 60%, right? I currently live live on 80. I'm about to get a raise. I'm going to keep that number. I'm going to continue to live on that. Why? So that this and this increases, and I become wise with my money. But you have to decide this. This all happens on purpose. It does not happen by accident. And I'll just tell you one resource that I use. We asked that question earlier. We use, my wife and I together, we have an account with EveryDollar. It's an app that you can use. You can also do it on your computer. And it is a great way to manage. And it actually uses this principle, give, save, live, to help people budget and manage their money. And it has helped us. Well, it's helped me make sure Martha doesn't spend all of our money. Ooh, she knows. It's not a secret. But give, save, live. Have a plan. And again, this is a plan. I just encourage you to have a plan. Generous people live on less so they can give more. They want to, I'm gonna figure out how I can take out of this one and I can put into this one. Right? That's generous people are always asking themselves, how can I pull out of this one and put into this one? Truly generous people. I'm going to live on less. Why? So I can give more. And we're going to talk about why you would do that here in just a second. But constantly evaluating, how can I do this? How can I do this? Right? How can I do this? Live on less so I can give more and maybe even save more. And then lastly, generous people give money and more. They give more. We talked about that other resource that's incredibly valuable because it's not renewable. Generous people give their time as well. They give of their resources that aren't just like cash money, but I have this house, I have this car, I have these things that I can use to help other people. And I'm going to give it away. I'm going to give it away. Why? Because I do want more. The Proverbs don't condemn wealth. It just says if you want to get there, you got to give it away. And I'll tell you this, the poverty and the wealth described in that is not always about money as well. It is about your spiritual poverty and your spiritual wealth. And the well-being of your soul. So, as we look at generosity, we think to ourselves, why would we give more? Why would we pull out of here to pull here? Here's why. Because generosity fuels gratitude. Gratitude creates contentment, and contentment generates generosity, which fuels gratitude, which creates contentment, which generates generosity, which fuels, and I could just keep doing that in a loop. But all of us want this contentment, this place, this successful place. We would love to be grateful for the things that we have, right? Like we would be, like if that just poured out of us, just man, they are so grateful. I'll tell you this, the more that you are grateful and the more content you are, the more you will pull out of here and put it in here. I know a person who wrote a book, and it was wildly, unexpectedly successful. And that person started out in their marriage, their first year of marriage, giving 10% in their finances. At this point, the last that I heard is he was talking about this right here, right? Living on less so I can give more. 93% of his income he was giving away. And he was still saving and still living. The cost of living remained the same as the money poured in as when he didn't have any before that. And his generosity grew. His generosity was magnified. Why? Because he thought, how can I take from here and put into here? How can I be grateful and content? Generosity is not a money matter, it's a heart condition. And I would say this, most of us would rather it be said that we lived generously than died greedy.